We are gearing up for a Hunters versus Rogues DLC. I cannot believe I am saying this, but it's true. Calvin McManus knew all along about Hoskins and everything in Redacted, and it was a trap. So this is really teeing up for a big showdown between Calvin McManus and his hunters, Natalia Sokolova and her Black Tusk recruiter type hunters, and then of course Aaron Keener and the Rogue Agents. Now, all of this I already teased over there on X, and it already has like 5,000 views. So thank you so much for making that video, pop off over there on Twitter. X if you're nasty, obviously. But then I also released them in shorts here on YouTube early this morning because I wanted to go ahead and plant these seeds and get everyone asking these questions, because now I'm going to deep dive and tell you everything I know and everything you should know about not only the current lore of the game, but what's happening behind the scenes and leading up to this DLC. So I hope you enjoy, and again, thank you all so much for that support over there on X, but here we go. What's going on, YouTube? Kamikazevondoom here with another Division 2 video, so sit back, relax, grab that popcorn, don't forget to hit that like, subscribe if you haven't already, and let me know what you think in the comment section below. But today's video is about the latest Descent comm that I have already showed you guys. It is the longest comm we have gotten in several months. I want to say probably a year, that we have never had a 2-minute comm before. And even then, I had to break it up into 2 different YouTube shorts because obviously the whole YouTube shorts, they only go up to a minute. And this thing was juicy. So let me go ahead and catch you up to speed, and then we'll go ahead and fill in all of the gaps. So if you go to collectibles, go to comms. This is number 67 out of 72, all right? Now, just to let you know, there has been a lot of leading up to this. So if we go further back in the Descent comms, you can see here where Aaron Keener not only recruited Agent Hoskins, but then she went from New York to Chicago. Then she went from Chicago to Redacted. Now, we all know Redacted is Silver Creek. This was their way of connecting Silver Creek. We all know that these comms were made before the Division Heartland was canceled, and since then, all of these comms have been coming out with Redacted for the locations. Now, with that being said, Agent Hoskins shows up to Redacted and finds that everyone's dead and that there is a empty base of ops, and then that there is a empty bunker with a whole bunch of equipment and a roster. And then we find out more about all of this. But let me just go ahead and catch you up to date. Here we go.
She's an agent. I told you never contact me directly. You are breaking protocol. Wait, what do you mean she's an...
Isaac pinged her signature requesting backup as she crossed the border 6 hours ago.
Did you provide her with backup?
Of course not. I know my orders and I will not deviate from the mission.
Good. Good.
But sir, sorry, Cal, why are we worried about Agent Hoskins being...
Well, first, how the hell does she even know about... She was in Lower Manhattan securing the City Hall the last time we talked.
Fair enough. What's the second reason?
She was in Lower Manhattan. You know who else was last seen in Lower Manhattan?
Aaron Keener, sir.
Exactly. And if those two aren't working together, I will eat my hat.
She doesn't really seem the type. I mean, she killed her sister to save the Sarah camp. If she didn't go rogue then, I don't really see her going rogue now.
Precisely.
I'm sorry, sir. I don't understand your meaning.
The woman who kills her sister for strangers is the woman who'll do anything for the mission. And if her mission has been corrupted, if Keener has manipulated her into believing I am the enemy, that's a woman who walks from New York to through a blizzard in February. That's not a woman I want to underestimate.
Copy.
Now, how about you finish the job? Get the hunter roster off the Shade database onto that thumb drive and wipe out every last trace of the program. I'm not ready to activate the Hunter Protocol. There's too much at stake, but we cannot let a rat like Keener know the identity of every agent with that security clearance. Do you understand what's at stake here, soldier?
I do. Consider it done, sir. I've already backed up the roster on the drive. It's stashed in my bunk. Better to hide it in plain sight. I'm starting the wipe now. I need to get back to the team. Donovan called a meeting at the conservatory.
Report back once you find out what he wants. And please, call me Cal.
So this is very interesting. Not only did that agent directly talk to Calvin McManus about Hoskins, but Calvin McManus was also talking about Hoskins was in contact with her. Remember that Agent Hoskins was a division agent. Now, if we go back up here, this is where Aaron Keener recruited her. So let's go right here.
Have you heard enough?
Yes. For now.
If anyone knows about picking a side and making sacrifices, it's you, Hoskins.
I have no reason to trust you, Keener.
No, you don't have to trust me, but do you trust them? After what they did to us, do you still believe in the noble cause of the division?
At the end of the day, you're asking me to defect.
Be honest. Is there a reason not to?
Now that is where Aaron Keener was in New York, just like Calvin McManus was saying, and they, met up, and Aaron Keener did recruit her. Now, talking about the roster, okay, you go back to the collectibles and go back to Descent, she does find the roster. Now, that was happening a few weeks later, and that was under, let's see here, so right here. So it was called Roster, Agent Hoskins Gibson Update. Now, the first one, Warzone, this was where she was giving an update about Silver Creek. Okay, so just listen to this.
This place is a war zone. I figured it would be bad, everything is, but you could have warned me it would be this bad.
Welcome to a picturesque...
Thanks. Not the small-town vacation I was hoping for. There's fighting in the streets, there's a resistance, but they look like shit. Where the fuck is the division?
You were a good EMT. Remember to ignore the chaos. Cal's Hunter is the mission. Stay alert and expect contact once you get close to the installation.
Okay, so right there, before I go to the next one, Cal's Hunter is the mission. Okay, stay on target, all of that. Cal's Hunter, we learned right here. So it's called The Squad. Calvin McManus activates a hunter. So this is where he's getting the hunter to have a team, and they're going to Silver Creek.
Call me Cal. Time to come out of hibernation, Agent. There's work to do. Drop whatever you're doing right now. Just walk out. I need you to gather a team. Take whoever you think you'll need and go to immediately. Infiltrate the town and set up a forward operating base. You'll receive further instructions once you get to...
Now, he did give more instructions, and we learned that last week, because right here is where they were talking about the Hunter bunker. Listen up.
You've arrived in... That's good. I need your team to secure the base at the... and set up shop. As soon as you can, you get to the basement and locate the Hunter bunker. From there, you can access my database and secure the roster.
Now, that was the roster he was talking about, okay? So the Hunter was the mission. The Hunter was to recover this roster. The agent that was talking to Calvin McManus and alerted was sick, okay? Now, just remember that. That agent was sick when he was talking to Calvin McManus. Listen.
She's an... Agent, I told you never contact me directly. You are breaking protocol. Wait, what do you mean she's an...
Isaac pinged her signature requesting backup as she crossed the border 6 hours ago.
Did you provide her with backup?
Of course not. I know my orders and I will not deviate from the mission.
So right there, he's coughing, okay? Now, if we go to roster, Agent Hoskins finds the roster. Listen to this.
Any opposition?
None.
No one was guarding the base?
No. If there are any survivors, they fled.
Did you find what they were looking for?
Isaac did. Echo reconstruction.
Good. What was it?
USB drive. With a roster.
Did you recover the drive?
I wouldn't be calling if I didn't.
Good. Anything else of interest?
Yeah. The way the agents here died. I asked Isaac to do a sweep and status report of any agents and... 4 hits came back, all deceased. They were infected with green poison, but that's not what killed them. Team went to a local lab working on the antiviral for DCD before they scattered and died.
You might want to scrub that from the servers.
I don't know how to do that.
Don't worry. Theo can take care of it. What's the lab called?
Now, I believe that that is the conservatory, because remember at the very end of this new comm, that agent that was sick said he had to go report to another agent at the conservatory, and he was already coughing. Now, Hoskins already told us that all of those agents were dead, that the bunker was empty, and that she found the roster because of the echo, right? But in the latest Manhunt, if you go to the Manhunt First Rogue, we find out more about this roster. Now, going back to the latest Manhunt First Rogue category, there's a few comms here to give you more context. Now, the first one was Calvin McManus talking about Hoskins killing her sister. And the agent saying that, you know, if she would have went rogue by then, or if she would have went rogue, it would have been when she killed her sister. Now, come to find out, she killed her sister for the division. So listen to this.
How does it feel
How does what feel, Keener?
to kill your sister?
Fuck you, Keener.
You had no other choice.
I wouldn't have done it if I did.
You did the right thing.
Your approval makes me feel so much better.
We're supposed to be a phoenix, but you're a lioness.
What are you talking about?
Fierce, loyal, working for the pride, protecting the king while he sits on his throne, getting fat off the kills you provide him.
We're not talking about lions anymore, are we?
How do you feel knowing Calvin McManus could have prevented all of this and chose not to?
Enough of your riddles, Keener.
Now, you have no reason to believe me, but since you trust him so much, maybe you'll believe Isaac.
Okay, so you're obsessed with Gordon Amherst and believe he may be a threat to national security, but can't prove that, and all you have to go on is some rants about climate change?
And his association with Vitaly Chernenko.
What now?
Chernenko, Russian virologist who specializes in 3D printing.
So come to find out that Hoskins did not go rogue when she killed her sister, and she was then converted later from Keener. She was converted by Keener because Keener convinced her that, you know, he was this lion. He's basking in all the glory while all of his agents do all the dirty work for him. However, he's flipping the script. Now, we all know that she is now on Keener's side, went to redacted, quote unquote, Silver Creek, and here is the actual roster. Here we go.
This is all of them?
Allegedly. Who knows who survived the first wave or the virus, or if he started recruiting off the books. But this is everyone who was enlisted for the program before we were activated.
We know the name of every wolf in sheep's clothing.
We know the name of every agent who believed we may need oversight.
Autonomous. We were promised autonomy, to use our judgment and Isaac's intelligence to make the right call.
And the powers that be decided we couldn't be trusted with that much power, so they needed guard dogs. Just in case.
Their mistake was getting a Labrador to tame a lion.
Now, this is where things get dicey, okay? Because Keener has this roster now from Hoskins. This roster tells him all of the names of these first wave agents that work for Cal behind the scenes that are doing oversight over the division. So, in other words, those are his hunters in a sense. All right, so they work for him, they do more insight for him, and they are above these agents that they are watching, just like the hunters. Now, with this, Keener thinks that he has a roster of people to take over. Because like he says later, it doesn't matter who it is working for McManus. McManus can make them a hunter. And that is the scary part. Because check this out.
What are we doing?
Surviving.
It doesn't matter how many hunters we unmask. As long as they have access to their tech, they will be a threat.
Cal can always make new hunters.
And now, with Sokolova moving her troops, it's only a matter of time before they join forces.
Do you have a plan, or are you just thinking out loud?
I always have a plan. But you're not gonna like this one.
I never like your plans, but we've come this far.
We need a woman on the inside.
And you have one? A hunter?
Better than that.
How?
Best wing woman a guy could ask for. Just happens to be a Black Tusk embedded hunter.
No one is that connected.
Oh, Hoskins. You have no idea how connected I am.
Now, a lot of people are speculating that this is Kelso because he says to Hoskins that he has a embedded woman working for the Black Tusk hunter. Okay? Now, people were speculating that that was Bridget Douglas. Bridget Douglas is already killed by then. Because way up here, Aaron Keener talks about Bridget Douglas, okay? All of these right here. These are all about Bridget Douglas, and then she's dead, okay? And then he talks to the agent, and he says, you know, these are the things I learned from Bridge. Because he was actually, like, hurt about the loss of Bridget Douglas. These comms, however, with Hoskins are completely different. He's telling her that he has a new person on the inside working with the embedded Black Tusk hunter. Remember that Natalia now has hunters. Black Tusk hunters. So we have two different types of hunters now. We have the standard, traditional Calvin McManus hunters that are division agents turned hunters. And then we have the Black Tusk hunters that are working, I guess, with both Natalia Sokolova and Calvin McManus. You know, similar to the Recruiter. You would have to replay the Recruiter season to get all the information on that because that's when they joined forces and she started to get her own hunters. So with that being said, this is all building up for us to have a base of ops in Brooklyn to go up against this roster. And I believe that this roster is going to be a trap because Calvin McManus already knew Hoskins was on the way. He already knew Hoskins was on her, in Silver Creek and all of that. He had them change the roster and plant it. She found the roster, gave it to Aaron Keener, bada bing, bada boom. All right. All of those agents are dead. I will assume that these next few comms are going to be that hunter and his team taking out all of those agents that were there, leaving a trap of a roster for her to find, and then they dipped. Because her finding that all of those agents were dead and that she found this roster just from the echo, it's all planted. And with Calvin McManus already knowing all of these things before they were even there, it's obvious that it's going to be a trap. So what's building up here is we're going to have a base of ops in Brooklyn for the DLC. We're probably going to take on all of these undercover agents or whatever, double agents that work for Calvin McManus. And it's going to end up being a trap with hunters. And then we're going to be technically the rogue agents going up against hunters. And that's where I have the whole hunters versus rogue agents thing, because this is really gearing up for us taking on hunters, because Keener says no matter how many hunters we unmask, Calvin McManus is just going to make more. So this is literally Aaron Keener and his rogues versus Calvin McManus and his hunters. But I'll let you listen to the last few where he's talking about the base of ops in Brooklyn and all that, and then we'll go ahead and get out of here. But let me know what you think in the comment section below, okay? So we just listened to Evolve. Here's the last few, okay? Here we go.
I need you, Hoskins.
What is it now, Keener?
We need to set up a base of operations. We need a secure place, preferably where no one knows us, and we can start recruiting and training people for what's coming.
You can't have my farm, Keener.
Of course not. It's too remote. I want us to hide in plain sight.
Okay. Sounds like that's going to be more complicated than necessary given your profile. You've pissed off a lot of people.
I know. But for better or worse, it just takes one person to change public perception. And if we have hundreds, well, that's a movement. How is our little experiment going?
Better than expected.
My reputation precedes me?
The civilians you and Theo rescued are spreading the gospel of rogues.
Perfect.
Theo may fuck it up for us, though.
How?
The girl. They're sleeping together. Pretty sure he's gonna get her pregnant.
Would that be so bad?
You know what were my least favorite calls when I was in EMT?
No idea.
Labor. Best case, you get the patient to the hospital in time. Most of the time, you end up covered in every kind of fluid and holding a screaming, fragile baby that is probably going to get some virus from whatever filthy floor we had to deliver on. Worst case, you lose both of them and have to watch some sad dad's world implode. I don't want that for Theo.
Congratulations. Looks like it's time for a status update. You've officially passed the test. After everything you've been through, I know it must be hard to trust that this isn't a trick, that we are on the same side. You want proof? I can show it to you. We've got Cal's roster and what we've set up in Brooklyn. I think you'll be impressed. Well, Agent, if you're ready to meet, I'll send the coordinates and be waiting with your signing bonus.
So, this builds up us working with Keener as the rogue agents, going up against Calvin McManus, this roster, and all of these hunters who are going to be based out of Brooklyn, and this is building up the whole DLC. It has all come full circle, and now we are learning just the finer details right before this DLC drops. So let me know what you think in the comment section below. I will keep you up to date on all of this lore weekly every time I get another comm. So stay tuned for that. And remember to follow me over there on Twitter, X if you nasty, at Kamikazevondoom, to get all of this Division news before I make a YouTube video. But that's it for me. I'll see you later on tonight for the next Mooncake event, number 3. So stay tuned for that. Have a good one. Take care of yourself. Enjoy the rest of your day. Peace out.